So let me start on the preparations of alkenes. So under the preparations of alkenes, there are majorly 4 ways. I'm saying majorly, but of course at that advanced level, those are the only 4. Other books can give 5, but of course for purposes of organic synthesis, we majorly consider those 4 methods of preparing alkenes. The first one is dehydration. Dehydration of what? Of alcohols. Dehydration of alcohols. I know when we say dehydration of alcohols, from this word dehydrating, it means that you are removing water from an alcohol. So we are going to look at it. Then secondly, we can bring them from alkynes. And you know what we shall be doing to alkynes? It means that we shall be breaking one bond from an alkyne to form an alkene. And that mechanism, you did it under alkenes, where you were preparing an alkene from an alkene by hydrogen. So this process is called hydrogenation. Then the other one is dehalogenation. Dehalogenation. It means that you are removing a halogen from an alkyl halide. Then we are also going to prepare it from vicinal dihalides. Vicinal dihalides is where the halogens are on the carbon is surrounded by adjacent halogens. For example, I can have CH3, C, and this is CH, this is CH, but there is a bromine atom here. Then another carbon here. Then there is another carbon here, but there's another bromine atom here. This is 1, 2, 3. I told you you'll be keeping on counting like that. Then 1, 2. So this is CH1, this is CH2. So this carbon is surrounded by adjacent bromine atoms, and this is a dihalide because it has 2 halides. A halide is like a halogen, group 7 elements. A halide is like a halogen, and these are group 7 elements. And so if there are 2, therefore this compound is a dihalide. And following the principles of nomenclature, you should be in position to name this dihalide. That's a major thing. If I know how to name organic compounds, it is all well. Well, if I know how to name organic compounds. So this is a this is a dihalide, and therefore it is vicinal. The opposite is gemi. Gemi is when this carbon is now, it has 2 halogens. For example, it can be bromine here, bromine here. That is a gemi dihalide. But where the carbon is surrounded by adjacent halogens, then it is a vicinal dihalide. So let me go one by one. These are the only 4, but you should master them with ease, because I'm continuously going to use them when we are maybe doing questions on synthesis. And now preparation here, it is practical because I'm going to carry out mechanisms. How do I really come to it? So I'm beginning with this one, which we are calling dehydration. Dehydration of what? Of alcohols. Now another thing here is an alcohol. An alcohol has OH in it. When we say an alcohol, the functional group in an alcohol is what? Is OH. So also alcohols are majorly 3. There are majorly 3 types of what? Of alcohols. We have what is called a primary alcohol, we have what is called a secondary alcohol, and then we have what's called a tertiary alcohol. Now, how do I distinguish that either this is a primary alcohol, this is a secondary alcohol, this is a tertiary alcohol, and so on? If maybe I have CH3, CH2, OH like this group here is an alkyl group. This group is what is called alkyl group. Is the one most books abbreviate as R, the R group. So this one in short is going to be written as R or what? OH. So this R varies. I can have an R group with 4 carbon atoms. So this is the general formula of alcohols, as long as it has OH in it. So now there are majorly 3 ways of identifying a given class of alcohols. One, you see, when I expose this compound here, or when I display it, as I said the other time, I'm going to have here CH3C. Let me only display these bonds on this carbon atom. I have here hydrogen, I have here hydrogen, then I have here OH. So I know for an alcohol it is recognized by this OH. Now you look at this carbon carrying the OH. When I look at the carbon carrying the OH, this carbon here is having how many hydrogen atoms is my question. You realize that this carbon is having 2 hydrogen atoms. We have this hydrogen atom and then this hydrogen atom. So if the carbon having the OH group has 2 hydrogen atoms, that alcohol is said to be a primary alcohol. So when is it primary? Primary is by 1 degree when the carbon carrying the OH has 2 hydrogen atoms. Another way is still looking at this carbon. This carbon only has 1 R group. This is an alkyl group. An alkyl group. So if it has only 1 alkyl, if it has only 1 alkyl, what does it have? If the carbon carrying the OH has only 1 alkyl group, then still that alcohol is a primary alcohol. Now take for example, if I have CH3 here, I have CH, I have here OH, then I have CH3. I have to look, this is my OH. Look at the carbon where the OH is. This carbon here has how many hydrogens? You realize that this carbon has only one hydrogen. So if it has only 1 hydrogen, then that alcohol becomes a secondary alcohol. When the carbon carrying the OH has only 1 hydrogen atom. Or right, this is another group, this is another group, which means that a secondary alcohol, the carbon having the OH has 2 R, or it has 2 alkyl groups. So this one can be written as RCHR or OH, and that is the general formula of a secondary alcohol. Then a tertiary, you have here CH3, CH3, CH3. This is another group, this is another group, this is another group. This carbon is fully bonded 1, 2, 3. Then there's OH here, of course, to know that is an alcohol. It is fully bonded because this is 1 bond, 2, 3, and then 4. There are the 4 bonds. But because it has OH in it, this compound here is an alcohol. But which type of alcohol? Because this carbon here has no hydrogen attached to it. No hydrogen attached to that carbon. We are looking at the carbon carrying the OH, not this carbon. the carbon carrying the OH, no hydrogen attached, therefore it is a tertiary. Or we look at the number of alkyl groups. Here we have 1 alkyl group, 2, and then what? 3. So generally its form is R, C, there is OH there is another group there, down here there's also another what? R group. So I can just specify they can be different R groups by putting this R prime, R double what? So this one is a tertiary what? Tertiary alcohol. But of course I can condense these formula members. When I condense it,